Right, we are live there. Greetings, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Zimbabwe Daily. We are coming to you live from our Harare studios. I hope you're doing well. We are also doing fantastic. You're joining us today. We are speaking to the Food Federation and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe, FAWUZ, and joining me is the General Secretary. Sir, welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
Wonderful. You may start by introducing yourself and the union you are representing.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. My name is Runesu Zimiri. Currently, I'm the General Secretary of Food Federation and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe. FAWUZ. FAWUZ is affiliated to Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union.
How many members does your union have?
So far, currently, we do have a potential membership of about roughly 70,000. That's our potential membership, yes.
Wow. And which people are you really targeting under your union?
Yeah, basically, our target group is workers who fall under manufacturing and processing industry. That's where we drawn up. Membership.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. Manufacturing.
yes, manufacturing and processing industry.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And the service industry? What are we looking at?
You mean
You like your members, you said manufacturing and which other sector?
yeah, these are the only mainly sectors we do cover. If you are talking of our sectors, namely, we do have the baking industry, workers union. We do have food processing, workers union. We do have also meat, fish, and allied workers union, Zimbabwe milling industry and allied workers union, the detergents, edible oils and fats workers union. We do have also the sugar milling and allied workers union. We have also the big biscuits industry workers union. We have the brewing and allied workers union, and also we do have what we call sweets and confectioner workers union. And lastly, we have the sugar milling industry workers union. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Those are quite a number of associations under your union, eh?
Yeah.
And how's the industry? How's the food industry?
Yeah, at the moment, due to this economic environment, this harsh economic environment, we can't say we are doing well, but at least we are managing. Yeah, we are trying,
Okay.
but things are not well economically and politically. But yeah, I think it's something which we are working on it to overcome these challenges. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Right. So, hello. We are just introducing the Food Federation and Allied Workers Union, and we are learning about all the other, affiliates that they have under them: the baking industry, the food processing, sugar milling, detergents, etc., etc. So they all fall under the Food and Allied Workers Union. Now, you said you have a potential membership of 70,000.
Yes.
Is it just a potential?
Yes.
Why? Why do we just have a potential and not substantive membership?
Yeah, mind you, a trade union organization is a voluntary organization. So it's not mandatory to each and every worker to join our organization. So it's something which we are working on it, that maybe we need to recruit more members so that at least they will know their rights.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, why is it important for a worker under all these under the food industry to be a member of a union? Why is that important?
It is important in the sense that, mind you, as a labor movement, we are the ones who fight for the workers' rights and advance the interests of the workers. So basically, if you are not a member to a union, in terms of job security, it becomes a challenge. The employers will take advantage of that, and also, terminate your employment, take into consideration that you don't have any representation from the union side. So it is very, very important to join our union, in the sense that you need also to secure your employment. Yeah.
You speak about job security in Zimbabwe. Is there such a thing anymore?
Yeah, it is there. That is if you know your rights. But if you don't know your rights, it becomes a challenge. You might end up thinking maybe there is nothing like that. But this is there. For you to be assured that you need to secure your job, you need to join a trade union, so that at least the trade union will fight for your rights, and at the same time will try as much as they can to educate and train their membership, so that at least they will also defend themselves at workplaces.
All right, brilliant. All right, so we'll just take a short break. And when we come back, we want to move into the impact of COVID-19 to the food industry. So join us after this short break. All right, thank you so much. So we're back. This is Zimbabwe Daily. If you'd want to advertise on any of our platforms, feel free to contact our marketing team at marketing@zimdaily.com. Here we are going to be doing a lot of productions, and if you want to be part and parcel of what we are doing, if you believe that what we're doing is also good for Zimbabwe and also good for your brand, feel free to contact us on the email that I've just given you, so that we are able to work together. So I'm joined here by Mr. Zimiri from the Food Federation and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live. So if you have got any comments, any questions that you'd want to ask our guest in the studio today, feel free to do that. You can just type on the Facebook platform, or if you go onto our website at www.zimdaily.com, you can actually send us a WhatsApp message. We want to hear from you as well. Now, so we want to talk about the COVID-19 that came unexpectedly and hit the world, from March, essentially, when we as a country went on lockdown. How has that affected the food industry at large?
Okay, thank you. I think on COVID-19 impact, we do have negative and positive impacts. I will start with the negative impacts. In food industry, we observed that when this pandemic started, there was a big challenge, especially from the employer part. there was lack of personal protective equipment, PPE. Workers were not being given on time. We observed also the loss of employment due to unfair labor practice, or I mean, due to unfair dismissals and retrenchment again. The salary and wages reductions, unpaid leave, the decreased income again. It was also a major challenge, especially to the trade union side, due to loss of membership. Pensions were also affected during this pandemic era. Non-remittance of union dues is one other thing which was also a major challenge to us as a trade union organization. And also the delay in terms of the negotiations, salaries and wages, at National Employment Council or at industrial level. Yeah, that was also a major challenge to us. Remember, most of our negotiators were not educated in terms of how to use these virtual meetings,
I see.
how
Okay.
to do this virtual meetings. So it was a challenge again. So at times it also affects, negotiations proceedings. Now, on a positive impact, I think one other major issue was the policy development on COVID-19. We managed to develop a policy on COVID-19. We developed also the online brochures just during this pandemic for the sake of our membership. We developed also posters which speaks about the prevention measures against the COVID-19.
Okay. So this is what the union was able to do, right?
Yeah, in terms of the positive impact, yes, that's what we managed to do. We
Okay.
also,
And in terms of your actual members, what is it that was positive about? Is it that there was a boom in the food industry, or what? Because I think you mentioned a number of challenges that you faced, like loss of in employment and unfair dismissals. I mean, understandably, everything was just going down uncharted waters. Was there in any way, was this industry cushioned in any way by government, in order to at least safeguard the employment of the workers? Since I'm sure this was an essential sector during this pandemic.
okay. To be honest with you, we never got any cushion from the government. But actually, what we did was when we discovered that there was a lack of PPE on time,
Yeah.
we as FAUS, we wrote a letter to the Minister of Labor advising them that we are not happy with what the employers was doing by then. So the Minister of Labor, I'm happy that they also pushed the employers to comply to the regulations on COVID-19 for the safety of the workers.
Yeah.
Over and above that, I think we as FAUS also, after we received an anonymous letter from our membership that advised us that they were, we workers, we have been also tested positive on COVID-19, and we quickly then noticed the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union, our labor center, would then advise the Ministry of Labor, and after that we got a positive response from the Ministry of Labor, and we visited the workplaces to see whether or not if the employers are complying to the COVID-19 regulations. But however, we when we paid our visit to these workplaces, we didn't alert the employers, both the employers and the employees, about this development. Why? Because our intention was to obtain what was on the ground. Yes, but we had to make sure that we also utilize some of the stakeholders, like the National Social Security Authority, that is NASA, and also the National Employment Council, the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union, together with us. Yes, that was the team, which were also, I mean,
Just checking on the condition
yes,
of the
yes,
workers on the
yes,
ground.
yes.
Yeah. What have they been saying? I mean, yes, you mentioned that a couple of people tested positive to COVID-19 and stuff like that. Government introduced a $75 cushioning for the civil servants. Was this also affected in the food industry?
No, that provision was meant for, that cushion was meant for the public sector. It wasn't meant for the private sector.
Okay. So what did the private
It was
sector
an
do?
oversight from the government itself,
Yeah.
because they didn't look into the private sector. Yes.
So the employees in that sector were just working without any extra allowances, given that everybody else essentially was working from home and they had to be available. For us to get the sugar in the markets, they needed to be milling it somewhere. For us to get milling meal, they needed to be someone doing the job during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown.
Yeah. From our industry in food sector, as a union, what we did was to advocate for our membership to get also this COVID-19 allowance. But unfortunately, we didn't get any positive response concerning that issue. But however, the employers themselves, together with their workers at workplace levels, they some way they gave their employees what we call hampers, just to assist the workers. But in terms of COVID-19 allowance, there was nothing like that.
All right. Okay, so we're going to take another short break, and when we come back, we want to be taking questions that you have as we give them to our guests in the studio today. We have got the Federation, the Food Federation and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe representative, the General Secretary, who is with us in the studio. So do stay tuned, and when we come back, we want to continue because there are really fundamental issues that have been raised, and I see there are some of you who have already started asking questions. So we want to be able to interrogate those questions before we end this program. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back shortly. All right, thank you so much. So we are back and we are speaking to the General Secretary of the Food Federation and Allied Workers Union, the General Secretary, Mr. Ernesto Zimiri. We are looking at the food industry. As you realize that we are in pursuit of social justice, which is the distribution of resources across all boards equitably so that we are all able to live a comfortable life. So, Mr. Zimiri, we spoke a little bit about some of the challenges that the union and its workers and its members have faced over the COVID-19 pandemic. Now we want to move to another issue before we take on the questions from our viewers. There's the issue of statutory instrument 185 of 2020 in July that mandated sellers to display, quote, and offer prices in both Zim dollar and foreign currency. What did this in any way help the workers in terms of their own salaries, or this was, meant for just the goods?
Okay, thank you. I think when the government gazetted this statutory instrument 185 of 2020, uh, which talks about the dual pricing, I think from the government side, it was an oversight, especially from the workers. Because as we speak right now, there is no law which talks about the salaries specific for the workers, especially the foreign currency. We thought maybe the government itself, by the time they gazetted this statutory instrument 185 of 2020, they were also supposed to focus more on the workers. That maybe there is need for them to get paid in US dollar or in foreign currency for the betterment of their lives. But it was very unfortunate that the government didn't, gazetted the law which speaks about the salaries to be paid in US dollar, which is a major challenge now. Yes. Most of the employers now, they are now manipulating using that SI 85, 185 of 2020. Because if you will go to negotiation now, the employers themselves, they will just simply say, well, there is no law
Okay.
which abide us
That
to,
compels them, yeah.
yes. So I think it was an oversight from the government. So we are just appealing from the government side that maybe there is need also to gazette a law which also speaks about the salaries specific for the workers, so that at least they can get, in foreign currency. Yeah.
Do you see that happening? I mean, the teachers are already demanding certain things, and government is saying something else. Do you think they would even consider that? What efforts are you putting in place to ensure that maybe your mother body, the ZCT, you take this to the negotiation forum? Is this something that you're tabling? Is this something that has been tabled, or that you intend to table?
Yeah, at the moment we are pushing the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union, the most recognized labor movement, which sit on tripartite negotiating forum. That maybe they can also advocate for the new law, which also accommodates the workers to be paid in foreign currency. Yes, because at this moment in time, there is no way we can change these laws beside to advocate to our motherboard, which is NCTU. Yes. So we are just appealing that maybe at TNF level, they need also to consider the issue of, coming up with a law which also accommodates the workers.
Yeah.
So that at least each and every worker will get,
in Zimbabwe will understand that there's a lot of manipulation, as you have said before. People are taking advantage of the lack of legislation to support, the labor force. Whereas, I think I heard some arguments where people are saying that whatever policies we have in place support capitalism, more than anything else, because the ones who own the means of production has the latitude to put prices in USD, and I have to work for them and sell that product. But at the end of the day, I'm selling goods that I can't even afford.
Exactly.
The case that we also have with teachers who are not able to even send their own children to school. Now, how do we disabuse ourselves as a workforce from this level of manipulation? Do you think the TNF is even going to consider some of these things? What is your plea to them? What is your plea to those who make the laws, to those who are in government, concerning your constituent?
Yeah, in labor movement, we believe in the social dialogue in whatever we are doing. So we are just appealing that maybe that board, the TNF board, try as much as they can to address this issue. Because as we speak right now, things are not well. Workers are under siege. That's the real. So the government must try to address these issues for the sake of, of our, we need to see our country going forward. But you can't achieve our goals, especially if workers are under siege, are not happy with what is happening on the ground. So,
But some of you are happy.
no, we are not happy at all. We are not happy with these government policies because, some of these issues, we need consistent policies. But as we speak right now, there is inconsistent policies in government, which is a major challenge to us. It's very difficult to plan for tomorrow.
Okay.
If you check today, very, very difficult. Why? Because we don't have a consistent policy. So what we want the government itself to also appreciate the concerns and try as much they can to address these issues for the good of our country.
Okay.
Yes.
Brilliant. And then the labor movement itself, there's just a lot of division. You're not united in terms of, clarity of position. And also, like, we see there are a number of unions here and there. I think I'm not exactly sure about the food and
Yeah,
allied,
yeah.
sector, but I've noticed like how the teachers unions, for example, have been pitted against each other, with another negotiating a different figure from what the majority are saying and stuff. How is that a factor in the food and food federation and allied workers union?
You know what? You raised a good question. It's shocking that, our ideology as labor movement is socialism. That's our ideology. But now it's shocking that maybe I can simply say we are abusing the ILO conventions, freedom of association 87, because we are now witnessing too much fragmentations, resistance of trade unions in Zimbabwe. This contributed to disunity amongst ourselves. Why don't we just come together? Because our ideology is one thing, socialism. We want to fight for the workers' rights. We want to advance the interests of the workers. That's our aim. But surprisingly, it's a major challenge. I think we are appealing to the motherboard, especially the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union, to come up with the strategies of, education and training to the general workforce, so that at least workers will get to understand what we really need for the betterment of the workers. Because honestly, like in teachers in public sector, the teachers, they do have about 8 unions in one sector. Just imagine 8 unions. Of course, yes, we do have freedom of association, but we are now abusing that association. We are now abusing that ILO convention. Yes, this contributes disunity amongst ourselves. The same is happening also in the food industry. We do have what we call rivals unions. Some that are not being recognized at national level, are not being recognized regionally and globally.
But they are rising.
Yeah.
To save who?
I don't know. Their intention is they just want to create confusion. They just want to create confusion, and most of them they want to see disunity amongst ourselves, which contributes these challenges which we are facing right now. So I'm appealing to the workers, especially in Zimbabwe, that it's high time now to get united.
Yeah.
To fight for a cause. Because I witnessed most of these trade groups. Some of them they have what we call they want power. Yes, yes, they are fighting for their personal interest. They want to have, personal gains. But they are no longer fighting for the workers' rights, which is a major challenge. So I am appealing also to the workers themselves that they must also try as much they can to understand if you want to join a union, try by all means to do a research to see whether or not if this union will address your concerns.
Your concerns, yeah.
Because it's not something good for a union just to, to collect union dues. While they are not fighting for the workers' rights, while they are not advancing the workers' interests,
I see.
it's a pity, it's painful.
To say the least.
So
Yeah.
workers must rise up. Workers must also try to do research, see whether or not if this union is affiliated to the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union. Why Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union? Because it's the most recognized labor movement in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
We can't talk of ZFTU because ZFTU, they're just there to collect union dues. But in terms of, educating workers,
They are growing.
they're doing nothing.
They are growing. All right. So we are speaking to the General Secretary of the Food Federation and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the studios. So we would also want to hear from you whether the food industry is really stepping up. Are the workers doing the things that they're supposed to be doing? So right now we want to look at the questions that some of you have posted. Blessing Sashikiro, you have sent in your message. Good afternoon. I am Blessing Sashikiro in Harare. My question is about the payment of a retiree as in terms of the Labor Act in food industry. I think these are issues to do with pensions. I've retired from the food industry. Am I covered under the Labor Act?
Yeah, of course, he has is covered under NASA Act. If he have got any challenge, he can also, visit our offices so that at least we can assist him more.
All right. So, Blessing, if you are a retiree in the food industry and you've been remitting your dues to NASA, you definitely have to get your pensions paid for. Thank you so much for coming through. Brighton Chinemi Mbiri, you say, why guys are not fixing our country? Why are you not fixing our country? Is a question.
Yeah, it's because they're not giving us, enough support. We need to be united. We need to work together, support each other. But as it stands right now, there is a disunity amongst ourselves.
But why is there disunity? Is it because people have lost faith in the trade unions to fight for their rights, or what? Why is there disunity?
Yeah, there is a lot which contributes. One, a lack of knowledge.
I see.
Most of the workers they don't know their rights. Also, the abuse of ILO conventions, 87, which is freedom of association. The government also take advantage of that because they want to see workers divided. Yes. So if we are not very careful, we will just keep on registering, trade unions, but at the same time, creating our own problems. Yes. What you are saying is workers at the moment, they must join a union which is affiliated to ZCTU.
Okay.
Yes. Workers must join the union which is affiliated to ZCTU, the only union which is recognized nationally, regionally, and globally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And also some other issues which contributes, challenge, to be honest with you, in private sector, we lost, the quite a number of, workers due to retrenchments, due to unfair dismissals. And also, one other issue which also contributes, these challenges, Our Labor Act, chapter 28.01, is very weak, to be honest with you. Eh, it doesn't, accommodate workers as we wish to be. So, yeah, these are some of, issues which I need to share with my fellow colleague here.
All right, Mr.
Yes.
Dzumiri, thank you so much for coming through to our studios. I think if you are picking from what he's been saying, like I did, I am learning that there is so much work that needs to be done in order to support labor. Maybe the government is moving towards entrepreneurship and not, workers.
Yeah. I think,
They said to go, I'm business owners, no workers.
yeah, of course, yes, the world is changing, and with remember, we are working towards the fourth industrial revolution. If you check like nyika dzakaita sana China and the likes, but in whatever Subarquita is now paperless, and maybe we are moving in that angle. But as Zimbabweans, I think tichiri kure zvakanyanya. Yeah, there is a lot which needs to be done. Remember, our economy, as we speak right now, is not stable. We need to sort out the issue to do with our economy and also the political environment. Yeah, of course, yes, we might be talking about peace and the likes. Of course, yes, we really appreciate, but the political environment is not conducive. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So, social justice assigns the rights and duties in the institutions of our society, which enables people to receive the basic benefits and burdens of cooperation. Social justice helps us work towards celebrating diversity in our communities and our country. We want to make sure that our social justice quest and desire for human rights share the same goal. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for joining us. My name is Yvonne Muchaka. Have a blessed afternoon.
Thank you.